Here I want to do a video of the different eggs that were laid over the last, few days. So on the bottom left right here, this is a Varanus cummini egg. So the egg is probably, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 inches long. So in terms of the feel, it's actually quite rough, the feel of it. In addition to that, the shape, it's a bit elongated. It's pretty typical. The coloration's typical. There's a nice fertile egg. You could, of course, get infertile eggs sometimes, from all different species. And I actually have an infertile egg over here to the left here. So that's an infertile egg that was laid in the water by an Australian water dragon. Obviously, the color's way different. If I go to push it in, pushes in very easily. And even if this wasn't laid in the water, this is very obviously an infertile egg. Some are more obvious than others, and this is a really obvious example. This female was never paired with a male, and even if she was, the egg is yellow, has a soft texture, it's not firm at all, and the shape is off, the size is off. A nice, healthy Australian water dragon egg usually has great coloration, similar to an egg I'm going to show you after this Varanus cummini, which is an Ackee egg. So, Ackee eggs are obviously far smaller than Varanus cummini eggs. They're similar size to an Australian water dragon egg, but the texture's a bit different, shape's a little different, and in terms of the hardiness of the egg, it's actually completely different. But yeah, so here's an Ackee egg. So the Varanus acanthoris, it's another type of monitor lizard. It's a dwarf monitor, so that's why the egg is smaller. And in addition to that, the dwarf monitors, the Ackees, this particular female, she's probably about 12 to 18 inches long, give or take, closer to 18 inches though. She actually laid 10 eggs in total. I put 5 in one container, 5 in another, because I have them in different incubators, testing 2 different incubators out. But anyways, these are nice eggs as well. You see the color, nice and white. The texture, can't push them in again. Nice and firm. They're not quite as rough as your average water monitor egg or a Varanus cummini egg, but they do have a rougher texture than an infertile egg typically. The color's, nice and bright, like we said previously. The shape is a bit different too, because you look at this Varanus cummini egg, it has like a pretty elongated shape, relatively speaking, at least compared to this Ackee egg. And then, now that we're talking about shape, you can look at these Lacerda eggs down here. So Lacerda's a genus of lizard that comes from a bunch of different areas in terms of continents, but many come from Europe. And the particular Lacerda here that laid these eggs are Lacerda exigua. And those guys get pretty small, only about 5 or 6 inches long when they're full grown. And they lay a lot of eggs. I don't know how many eggs are here. Was that like 9 eggs? They incubate at 77 degrees, and it usually takes about 3 months for them to hatch out. And it really depends. If you incubate them a bit lower, they usually take longer, and the same is true vice versa. And that's the case with most eggs, even snake eggs. I incubate a lot of snake eggs as well. So higher temperatures will be shorter incubation time. But I kind of just wanted to compare and contrast, because when I go about my day in the farm, there's a lot of little interesting things that come up, and I usually kind of keep it to myself, but I feel like certain things are pretty interesting, so I probably should share it. I think other people will enjoy it. So this is a Varanus cummini egg here, about 4 inches long, a bit elongated. It's tough to tell in the video because the lighting's a little bit poor here, but it's actually quite a bright egg, so it's definitely a fertile egg. I've candled it, and it has vessels and everything, so. These are Agilis exigua eggs from a Lacertid. So these will hatch out probably about another month. These have been incubating for 2 months now. And these are some Ackee eggs. So it's another monitor lizard, but there's a huge difference, like we were saying previously, even in incubation time. So Varanus cummini, usually at 86 degrees and with proper humidity, so you have high humidity. And it usually takes like 6 or 7 months. I've had them even take longer than that to hatch out. Ackee eggs, you're usually looking at a little over 100 days. They could definitely take longer or shorter. Again, it usually depends on parameters like temperature. And I incubate those at 86 typically. And then I do 77 degrees for the Lacerda Agilis exiguas. So what I'll try to do is maybe in comments, I'll start posting pictures of like the parents and stuff, so people get an idea of the animals I'm actually talking about, because some people may not know the exact species. But these are all nice fertile eggs. I know because they're all showing vessels, and even if the eggs wind up going bad, it's not because they're fertile, it's because maybe something else happened. So fertile eggs, And that's an infertile egg laid from a Australian water dragon that I didn't pair up. I just didn't pair up the Australian water dragon because she's a little small, and I think it's just safer to wait till she's a little larger. And Varanus Kameni on the bottom left, Lycurgus exigua on the bottom right, and on the top right you have a Varanus acantharus.